Hello, we're early. We got a lot of things to do. Oh shit, I forgot to, hold on. I gotta fix the C920 or it's gonna give me grief. It's gonna give me grief. Okay, not auto exposure. Okay, fine. Not auto white balance. I need to tweak it. Okay, it's been tweaked. Okay, we're good. Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. I'm excited, not just about the RetroTINK 4K. That's the main goal of this stream is the RetroTINK. I'm fortunate that while I was not able to get a review on or be more helpful for Mike while he was developing the RetroTINK 4K, he was gracious enough to let me kind of pre-order one, or I bought one ahead of time, so that way I wouldn't have to deal with the madness that happened yesterday. So however many 1,000 RetroTINK 4Ks sold out. It was less than an hour. So you either got one or you either bought one or you didn't, and if you wanted one, anyways. So I've got one. I've been messing around with it. Well, okay, so here's some background on the RetroTINK. I purposefully have not looked at any other reviews, or even like feature videos. Like Bob's might have been like a feature overview. So it hasn't even been a week. I got it on Thursday. So like this past 4 days I've been kind of flying blind, and I've mostly been doing some DOS gaming. So I have it's low res, pretty much, VGA only graphics card in this computer, and I've been just using that to play on my LG C2 OLED there. I guess we'll talk about. Yeah, I was able to get one a little bit early, level 1. Yep. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about my setup, and also know that this is not going to be a scientific analysis or scientific testing or anything. This is just the best that I can muster with the equipment that I have, which I think Mike Chi said that the AverMedia Live Gamer 4K is a good card to get, a good capture card. You don't need the newest one, the newest AverMedia Live Gamer 2.1, the HDMI 2.1 one, because the RetroTINK 4K only uses the 2.0 HDMI standard, so that's max 4K 60 hertz with HDR. So I've been struggling a little bit with migrating my capture stuff. You guys have already, if you have been watching my streams, you know I've already been struggling. I don't know what I'm trying to do. I want to be able to capture multiple scalars side by side. So for the purposes of this video, I have that. Another side story, I actually bought a second Live Gamer 4K. Then I realized that my motherboard does not have a third PCI 4x slot. It has a PCI 1X slot at the very bottom. So right now I have my GTX 1070, then the Live Gamer 4K in the second PCIe slot, the full size one. But then the last ones are only 1X, and you need a 4X for this card. So I was not able to put two Live Gamer 4Ks in this computer. For eventually, the only reason I would need that is to do comparisons between the Morph and the RetroTINK 4K. Now, I did a tiny little bit of testing just right before stream with a switch. So let me maybe map out a little bit of what I'd like to do tonight. I guess I have three kind of scenarios that I would like to look into. One, today is the 30th anniversary of the release of the original Doom. So I'd like to fire up the Retro PC, and we'll kind of talk about if you've seen any of my recent live streams where I've been doing DOS computing stuff. You'll know I was using the OSSC for that because it has a VGA input, as well as it allows you to plug in 3.5mm jack for audio input on the OSSC. But the OSSC doesn't handle the resolution switches, which are semi-frequent if you are changing games out often. It doesn't seamlessly switch to the next resolution. So that's a good test. Well, it's not a test because I already know that it works well. But you guys will be able to see that it works well now. So I think that's not the first thing, because I've already got Zelda up. So the first, I think eventually we'll get around to looking at the PC and how that looks. Second is I have the Switch set up. I've always been curious because the RetroTINK 4K has an HDMI input, it accepts signals up to 1080p and it outputs 4K. So I'm assuming that means it can upscale to 4K, 1080p to 4K. But I've already kind of taken a look at that, and yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to tell, especially with that game. I suppose I should have picked a different game because Legend of Zelda, or at least Tears of the Kingdom, doesn't have a high frame rate. Oh, there it is in the background. So it's kind of difficult to tell what is. Yeah, it's not always the smoothest running game. So line tripling 720p versus line doubling 1080p. Line tripling 720p versus line doubling 1080p. So like if you had the same game on two different consoles, which one would look better? If it was running at 720p or 1080p? So that's the second scenario, is we can look at the Switch a little bit. Then the third scenario is some retro games, if you guys want to look at some retro stuff. Now, I do have currently set up, actually let's just switch to it. It's going to be kind of goofy, a little bit goofy. I don't really know a great way. I'm just gonna let it rip, and we'll see. You guys will know what I'm talking about. But I don't have a second 4K capture card, but I do have the Magewell USB 3. No, what is it called? USB 3 version 2 or something, which is what I used to use when I captured footage from the RetroTINK 5X. So that was for everything that I captured with the 5X, I used the Magewell. So I have an HDMI splitter. So for example, Zelda, I have the Switch is going into an HDMI splitter. One of those outputs is going to the 4K, and the other one is going to the Magewell. So we're capturing the raw Switch output in one, on one half of the screen, you'll see. And then the other half of the screen, you'll see the RetroTINK 4K upscaled. You could just output 1080p to capture card? I don't understand. What do you mean? You could just output 1080p to capture card. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But I'm like duplicating it, like, so it's going to both. It's going to the input of the 4K and a second capture card. So that's what I'm trying to say. So I have that set up. Let's take a look. I'm kind of confused about some aspects. I guess we can talk about the menu too, because the menu is a little bit. Well, I'll just shut up and I'll switch to it. I don't have a shoot. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of the chat. I have not hooked up an Xbox to it yet. We can try to do this same test, actually this side-by-side test with my Stellar Xbox HDMI, or Xbox HD Plus if you want. We can kind of do the same test with that. So what you're seeing, I'm going to fire up my laptop over here so that I have comments on the other side of the room here. But what you're seeing on the left is the 4K, so I just for if you've never seen I guess, I mean, it's super hard to tell with this, but this is the output from the 4K. Oh, Halo 1, let me know if you have questions. Yeah, well, yeah, yes. So this is the output. I mean, it looks fine, but you'll see, I mean, what I found right away, so I put this I put the RetroTINK on this half. And there's no way to like lock it there. And then I put the Magewell, which is just the raw switch output, on the right. And I think that you'd have to zoom in super far. It's hard to sort of, for me to see also. Well, what I can do is I can full screen OBS and that will show me side by side. So here's some things to consider, and we'll talk about the, let's hide the, we're gonna hide stream elements, get rid of that piece of garbage. We're gonna make this full screen again on my screen. And let's talk about the RetroTINK menu, I suppose. And I'll give you my initial thoughts after using it for just a couple of days. So, and I think you guys should be able to see it. Okay, so I'm pulling up comments over here so that way I can talk at the menu and yeah. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I'm still pulling up comments here. Also, you guys should let me know if anything drops out. I think I have. I can show. I can. If you're interested, I can tell you my capture setup here. Okay. Next console, OG Xbox. Oh wow, a lot of people with OG. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we could do that. I don't know how many people care about the retro PC thing, but I mean, we can just fire it up and I can show you Doom. I want to at least run Doom because it's the 30th anniversary today of the release of the original Doom. But it is very sharp. With stuff like DOS, it's like the original resolution is 320 something, and it looks really great. Especially, it's great for connecting VGA, anything low-res VGA to like a 4K TV so far. So, all right, so let's talk about the menu. I don't know my exact, the bit rate that let's see, can I tell here, stats for nerds. Okay, 30, I'm uploading at 30 kilobits. I don't know if that's probably a lot for streaming, but probably not enough to get the full detail, but I mean, YouTube is gonna compress it anyways. But, you know, it's the best that I could do, I think, to represent it. Now, let's talk about the menu. So it's sort of split up. This is like the high level menu. It's sort of split up. So the inputs, I mean, obviously this is the big input screen. So it's got everything. Currently we're on HDMI for the switch. So this screen is fine, I think. I'm not like looking for things to gripe about. So this screen is fine. I do. Yeah, I don't know. We'll come back to the screen when we change to something else. But HDMI output is really where all the output settings are going to be, minus any customization settings. So if we hop in there, I have HDR off. If I turn HDR on, you will. I don't necessarily know if you should be playing any of the RetroTINKs if you're not using any of the scan lines or mask options with HDR on. Because if you turn HDR on, all the RetroTINK is doing is turning on an HDR flag in the HDMI packet, I think. But you'll see with my capture card, my AverMedia card can handle it. But obviously I have no way of doing that with the Switch itself. I don't have a way to say, hey, enable HDR, because I don't think the original Switch can do anything like that. Change sync lock. Okay. Just curious, why does this matter? Okay, yeah, we could do Xbox. Hi, Ron Damon. Hi to Collector. I don't know what is the advantage of using sync lock. So anyways, this is why I had HDR off, because you can see the switch on the right is that's the stock output is no HDR. So I don't know if you really, I mean, it looks really good both in the capture and by really good, I mean it handles the HDR well. I don't really see things, well, the menu is up, but I don't see parts of the game like blown out or anything. So I don't really know what that flag does other than say, hey, this is an HDR source, but like if the game is not sending HDR information, I don't really know what's happening. So for this particular game, I turned it off. So that's why that was off. I don't mess with anything with the colorimetry stuff. That's just going to be the different like HDR modes. So Rec 709 is like not HDR, it's standard def. Sync lock, there's probably way smarter people that I can explain what that can do, because I don't really know. I do know that there are some gotchas. I asked Mike, because I had no idea about this as a kid. If you're playing old DOS games actually run at 70 hertz. So you can actually get the 4K to output at 70 hertz, which is the default frame rate for DOS, if you use frame lock here. But you have to drop down from 4K 60 to, people were saying about custom mode lines. I don't really know what that means. Is that just a combination of resolution and FPS or something? Like an option down here, see these options down below, are these mode lines? Is that what that means? It was either sync lock or another setting for HDMI transmission, but basically if you had 56 hertz signal or something really weird between 50 and 60, the HDMI transmitter would lock to native rate. Okay, got it. Yeah, so in this case, I think the switch probably is going to output 60 hertz. I don't imagine it's going to have a poor output, but it comes up with like DOS and like the VGA graphics card. So yeah, but I found an issue. So I got that to work. If I drop down from 4K 60 to like, I put it at 1440p 60, which is the I don't know, the next lowest but still highest resolution, if that makes any sense. And if you put that into frame lock in DOS, it does output 70 hertz. And not only that, with this variable refresh rate on, the LG OLED actually can tell that it's running at 70 hertz, and it will run at 70 hertz. So that's pretty sweet. You can't run at 4K 70, but you can run at 1440p 70. But the problem with that is it's not perfectly compatible with like I got into a scenario where because if you're using Windows 95, and we'll come back to this, I know maybe you guys are bored, but like when you switch back and forth between DOS and the actual Windows, like Windows 98, Windows 98 outputs a higher resolution. Like let's say you have it set to like 800 by 600, but DOS is something like 300 by whatever. When you turn the computer off, it switches from Windows mode back to DOS, this like lower resolution mode. Sometimes it actually stops. It didn't lock. It didn't get a sync, is what I'm saying, in DOS with certain settings. So maybe we can try to recapture that, recreate that. Maybe it's a bug. Maybe it's just my settings are whack. I don't know. Some weird PC, for example, something unusual like Zwenergy with 75 hertz, you could output 1440p 120, and the sync lock would have it run at 75 hertz. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's cool. I don't know. I'm not sure if you need it to be at the, but I guess we can tweak it. Maybe I was running in the wrong output resolution. Maybe I needed to do 1440p 120. So we can cross that bridge. Okay. You guys are probably sick of this. So that's the second screen, this HDMI output, and then profiles is where where you can save. That's kind of like the old profile system where you could like save any of the current settings. But then there's also built-in profiles. So like if you go down to assign button and you click this, actually this happened the other day where all these profiles disappeared. So it had some and then they disappeared, and I don't know if it's something that I did. Load from file, load default, load from file. So this had stuff in it. Current profile 1. Maybe it's because, I don't know. Maybe my SD card is not in all the way or something. I don't know if that matters, but SD card inserted. Okay, so yeah, there is an SD card slot in the front that you can load profile. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I just needed to cycle this. These were gone before. Actually, while we're here, I'm curious how, if we go to HDMI output, this is actually where we can add, actually let's turn HDR on. I'm just curious. I know it's gonna look like total garbage. Oh, the other thing I also have is I have the ability to put my camera kind of like how Try did in one of their live streams, where they try to capture what the scanline effects look like. Okay, so the actual effects are in this advanced settings menu here, processing effects. Here's where scanlines and the CRT masks are. So if we go here, and then we can load like, let's load a fine one. Yeah, actually, it's gonna look totally terrible for you guys. Well, maybe this is a bad idea then. Maybe we'll put one of these generic. Let's do this. Oh my God, it looks terrible on the capture. Sorry. It's definitely weird in. My gut reaction is not. It doesn't look bad per se, but I suppose I don't have a CRT to compare it to side by side, so that is always in the back of my mind. I'm always like second guess, like is this good? Like is this supposed to be? Does this look like an actual CRT or not? So we're one step closer, and we actually have these masks now and stuff that we can do, but I still don't know if it was worth buying the OLED for doing this. So okay, so let's do. That's pretty much. I'm not gonna like go through the whole menu. You guys can watch somebody else's video, but I'm gonna be doing a lot of going through the menus that I just went through the whole night. Like there's a lot of different settings you have to tweak, and I don't have custom profiles set up for anything yet. All right, I'm just going through the. Yeah, 70 hertz issue. Yeah, you would drop to lower resolution output to synchronize the HDMI transmitter. RetroTINK 2 does not have a triple buffer and will lose sync often. Some weird. Okay, I already read that. The one thing I'd like to see is someone do PS2 with the GSM and doing ADC correction. So I don't have a functional PS2 at the moment, unfortunately. All my PS2s are sort of in parts. I think I'll still end up getting the Retro Gem for PS2 in the future, though. But it seems like you can get 99% of the way with the TINK 4K. Yeah, PS2 is like one of those ones that probably would have the best comparison. Like you could do the best comparison side by side to see how well the 4K. So really, with PlayStation 2, what you're trying to do is compare the digital output, like all digital from the gem, to analog to digital through the 4K, and see how well the 4K handles filtering. Like if there's any issues with your output, your analog output, you'll know. You'll be able to compare it side by side, and you'll see any issues with your analog setup. So that's kind of like, I think that you would need to get like a perfect analog output to compare to digital, assuming everything is working 100%. Okay, so let's nuke the Switch. Goodbye, Switch. I couldn't tell. Long story short, I couldn't tell the difference between the 4K and the stock output. Oh, this is a great screen. Okay. All right, let's get. I guess we'll do the PC while we're here. We'll play Doom for a minute. I need to make some things go away. I need to make the mage well go away, and I need to make this full screen. Okay. Okay, so now we're not in HDMI land anymore. We need to go to input. There's a button on the remote. So I'm using the remote control. And there's a button at the top that says input. Then we can go down to... So this VGA graphics card is RGB HV. So that's the option I want to set. I want to choose, I mean. Okay, great. Oh, I think the audio might be really quiet. Yeah, that's all I've been doing, CO. I feel like you weren't listening to what I said in the beginning. I've pretty much only been using it with the PC since I got it, because that's what I had set up and that's what I was testing. Okay. Why is there no audio? Let's test. Oh God, I really want to. Okay. So one thing that you're gonna tell. Oh shoot, and I wish I had the. Okay, that's fine. I don't have the OSSC. So because I'm not using masks, I'm gonna turn. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. Shit. I don't want that. Because I'm not using masks, I'm gonna turn HDR off. Well, I don't know. I mean, it kind of looks blown out in the capture a little bit here on this blue screen. On the OLED, it looks fine. So let's turn this off. No, it's all right. It is very good for PC. Well, I will mention. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's my graphics. I think it's my computer graphics card. So let's get out of here. So we're in. I guess let's see Doom. We're going to play Doom. So I want to switch from 4K. I want to be in frame lock, which is fine, but I want to go to 1440 120. So let's see if the the AverMedia card barfs on it. Okay, so that works. Now I always go to, oh, is that going to be, that's going to be not. Okay, so now you guys can kind of tell that something is something wonky. I always go to, where is it? Scaling, cropping. And there's this function. I wish there was a button on the remote to automatically do this. I don't know if there is or not. But, oh, there's a button to go to the screen. I wish there was a button to automatically crop 4:3 on, I didn't do anything. Doesn't it look weird? It looks really weird. Maybe because I don't want that. No, that's not what I want. What resolution is outputting here? No, I mean, it looks fine. It's really weird. Okay, so 800 by 600, but the 4K menu is all, doesn't it look stretched out? Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, 90s Oregon Trail. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to mention, and let me see if I can find an example on the screen. When I don't have a VGA splitter. Basically, I don't have a way of putting, I have a bunch of HDMI splitters, so I put an HDMI input, and that will split it to two outputs that are exactly the same. I don't have one of those for VGA, so I couldn't do OSSC versus the 4K. But just to see, the only reason I would do that is because you could see very evidently there was like this just like artifacting in the background of like the blue screen here with just on the Windows 98 screen. There was these horizontal jail bars, I'll call them, because they look kind of like jail bars. They were like all over it. You couldn't really not see it with the OSSC, But with the 4K, they're like, I don't see them anymore. Like maybe like if I look very closely at my screen, like if I'm looking at the taskbar, I can kind of see them better here. Like this very subtle jail bars, but it's way better. So I think the filtering, I mean, obviously we're going from the OSSC. We're not, I don't have a way to connect a VGA card to the RetroTINK 5X, because that might have been a good, because I would need like a VGA to SCART passive cable. Then I could do the comparison. So maybe someday I'll do that just to see what the filtering differences is. But between the OSSC and the 4K, it was night and day. There's like no filtering with the OSSC. Granted, that's without tweaking anything, but with the 4K, without doing anything, yeah. Solitaire now in 4K, yeah. So the reason let's do Doom. Doom is Doom 1 is 30 years old today. This is not, yeah. Scaling cropping menu. This menu will get any display or video resolution to work on the 4K. It's the most important magical feature. Scaling cropping menu. Doesn't it look weird now? Like for some reason doesn't it look stretched? The menu only. It didn't look like this before, did it? It's weird. So yeah, it looks fine. Yeah, so that scaling cropping menu pretty much does a really good job of cropping out anything that's not supposed to be, I guess it would be better with an analog console and stuff, but okay, so let's get to playing. So now what you're gonna see is I have it set to the lowest resolution, so this is 320 by 200. So it's going to switch from 800 by 600. You'll see in the top right, there's going to be a little notification from the RetroTINK. Let that drop out for a second. Oh, let's see, capture card. Oh wait, that's right. I'm in that frame lock mode. See, this is what I was talking about. Now we're stuck because I might have had a bad setting. So now I'm here. There's no capture. I have nothing on my screen because I must have. I don't know what I did wrong. So I went to 1440p, 120 FPS output option, and I put frame lock on, and it doesn't always work in DOS, that low 300 resolution. So now how do I get out of it? How do I get back? I think what I've got to do probably is switch to. Can I just automatically switch to 4K? Will that drop me out of frame lock mode? Probably not. I'm probably screwed. Well, let's see if I can memorize the keyboard shortcuts to close Doom. Get back to Windows. Nope, we're kind of stuck. Okay, well, let's reboot. That way, at least we can get to press blue button on the 4K. Oh, on the back. Well, I already reset. So that's weird how restarting the computer. This also should be that low resolution, like 300 DOS mode, but it worked fine here. So let me, before anything blows up, I'm gonna put it into. Oh God, did it die again? Oh, okay. I'm gonna go back to. Gosh, what? Output. Ah. I guess I shouldn't have done the fancy thing before I did the. Why is it frame locked to 120 hertz? What? See, this is why I don't think it should be in 120 hertz. I think it should go in 60 FPS mode. So now the menu here is better. See, for whatever reason, it didn't like that 1440p 120 hertz. So let's try this then. So this is 1440p. Still looks fine. You can actually, I can kind of notice, I don't know why, but I can kind of notice the jail bars in the bottom more, a little bit. I mean, like I said, you guys may not be able to see with all the YouTube compression stuff, but I can tell. So, I mean, that's just I haven't done any maintenance on any of this computer equipment, so it just could be old caps or something. Oh, you can kind of tell around the icons. There's a little bit of jail bars here in the blue. But let's try. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see what happens to the 70 hertz DOS mode stuff. Okay, so I think this should be fine. Turn off sync lock. Well, I want sync lock on now because I want to see if Doom will run. Or is it going to do the same thing? Yep, it did the same thing. Great. Let's try the blue button thing. What does the blue button thing do in the back? So CEO said there's this reset button on the back. Okay, I pressed it in. I don't know if you need to hold it. Maybe I need to hold it. Oh, okay. That reset everything, even the input setting. So at least from here, when you reset it, you're at least able to get back into the RetroTINK menu here, and you can. Oh, triple buffering was on. Oh, wait. Okay, so it must reset it into a safe mode that has like everything off. So I'm gonna leave it on triple buffering for now. I'm gonna turn VR. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter because it doesn't matter if it's on or off. But then I'm just gonna blast it back up to 4K, and then we're gonna go to. Okay, then we're gonna go back to our VGA input. Now, sometimes this happens where, so now this is working correctly, but the problem is our crop is off. This doesn't normally happen when you switch back and forth between games, but something must have happened when I reset it. So all you have to do is, so this is the problem, that crop menu is too hard to get to, in my opinion. I know all I have to do is go to, there's a button on the remote that says SCL. That's the scale cropping menu, and then I can go to the crop. And then I just do full crop 4:3, and that fixes anything that's wonky. So, let me just make sure. This is 4K 60. Triple buffering is on. So even though DOS is running at 70 FPS, it still looks fine. I don't really see any tearing in the capture. Or in my OLED. The blue button is the same as using the safe button on the remote. Ah, okay. There's also a button. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Okay, so there is a. Oh, okay. So on the remote is a toggle between gen and buff. I can enable or disable from the remote. Okay, that's a good idea. So if you're stuck, you probably want to swap to buffer mode if you're stuck in a undetected sync. How does it affect the switch? Religious-wise, I couldn't tell. I could not tell the difference between the switch through the 4K and the native switch. You can watch the beginning of this VOD if you want to. I had a real hard time. I had to. The switch does not have any like HDR information, so I turned the HDR setting off to make the colors, like the levels of the colors, I guess, they match up. And I captured between the stock output of the switch in the Magewell capture card and then the 4K output in my AverMedia. And I could not tell the difference between them. Maybe if you zoomed way in, you probably could. However, I would say that Tears of the Kingdom is the game that I tested, and I would say that that is not a great performing game. Yeah, I don't know. I could not tell. Maybe in a different game that has sharper, maybe if it was like a pixel game, you might be able to tell. Yeah. You can also push aux 2 when the image is switched. Oh, interesting. Really? Aux 2. Does that run the crop? Oh shit! Wow, look at that. I was wrong. I was right. The one gripe that I've had so far is on the remote. So that's good. That's cool. So if you hit aux 2, that can run the auto crop for 4:3. So that is handy to know. That might come up more often. So what does aux 1 do? Does that do? Oh, Okay, that just runs the vertical crop auto crop. Nice, thanks. Good call, Blizz. Okay, so this is Doom. I was playing. So when you just have it by itself, I run it with HDR on because it looks way better in my OLED. However, and it doesn't look that blown out on the capture. Thankfully, the AverMedia card can handle it. But I don't know what it does. I don't know if it does just a lookup transform or something to Rec 709 on the AverMedia side. I don't really know. Because you're not really sending HDR information when you click that button. You're just setting some kind of a flag. But maybe I'm misunderstanding how that works. Cool. So I mean, it looks it's really good for PC, especially if you have a big monitor or something. So like what I'm using it for now is it has become the all-in-one just test station, right? Because it pretty much works with everything. On the back, I mean, you guys can watch other videos explaining all the ports, but you have the HDMI input, VGA input, along with the 3.5mm audio input, so you can pipe in input. Like I'm using it from this computer here, which doesn't, obviously doesn't pass through audio through the VGA cable. Then I've got my component cables hooked up to my Extron. Then in the front is dedicated composite and S-video. So it has pretty much everything that you would want. Although, I am, if you guys have been following me on Twitter, I have this old IBM AT, which that has a CGA graphics card, which I'm just learning about it now. I mean, I watch LGR and stuff, and LGR has talked about CGA and stuff for a while, but I've never really had anything that could output CGA. The type of CGA matters because the CGA with this IBM I guess it's like a digital. It's not really an analog, even though it's an analog signal. It's a digital representation of the RGB. It's TTL though, so it's completely not safe for like shoving into something that's not a monitor. That's like a CRT, CGA CRT. But now I'm curious if that was something that Mike could fix or have some kind of special input mode, because if you could build the schematics for that type of video, I mean, they're all exposed on these pins, and actually it's not like, it has less pins than a VGA cable, so it's not like you can use a VGA cable on it. You'd have to make some weird CGA to VGA thing, and then you'd have to tell the RetroTINK that, hey, this is what I'm looking for, or this is what I have. And I wonder if Mike could just do it in the RetroTINK side, but I don't know. I'm sure he's not really thinking about CGA graphics cards right now. But it'd be something cool, because otherwise you have to build an adapter that literally just transforms this digital VGA, digital RGB basically, to VGA, analog RGB. Question is, what TV do I buy for this? Yeah, I would say that so here's the story about how I got shamed, how I self-shamed myself, I guess, to buying an LG OLED. I was only going to use because I have this, it's not amazing, but I have this Dell 4K monitor. I do kind of see that the colors are washed out when I use HDR a little bit, so I'm going to turn HDR off. It looks better in my, the capture seems to not do 100% converting it to the right colors. So I was just going to use the RetroTINK 4K with my 4K monitor, and I posted about that, and like a ton of people, not flame me, but they were like, why are you buying a 4K and you don't have an OLED? And I kind of thought about it, and then that combined with All right, I'm turning the PC off. Congratulations, Doom, for coming out 30 years ago. My Life in Gaming did a stream. Try had a RetroTINK 4K, and he did a close-up. Actually, I have my camera, and I would like to do some scanline close-ups if I have time. He used his camera to capture what the scan lines look like on his OLED, and it kind of blew my mind. And I just thought that, hey, this might be a killer feature for the 4K, that the slot mask feature. So that's why I kind of, I don't know, bullied myself into buying an OLED. It looks fine. So I ended up rearranging my setup here, my capture setup. So I'll switch to the webcam for a second. So I had my setup over here. I know you guys can't really see it right now, but I have the RetroTINK is hooked up over there. I have a HDMI splitter on the output side. That one of those outputs goes to the OLED here, and the other one I use a really long cable. Well, this one's only 15 feet now, but I use a 15-foot cable, and that goes directly into the AverMedia card, and that's the way that I recommend it. I would try to limit how many things that you have in the chain going to your capture card if your goal is to stream the RetroTINK 4K. I would directly, well, actually, I won't say directly because I am using at least one splitter to both go to my TV and then it goes to the capture card. So I limit yourself to one device in the middle, in between the 4K and the capture card. I thought my cable was bad, but it really is what I had before, or yesterday when I tweeted about, devices not working or whatever. I had the RetroTINK 4K going into the splitter, so it was powering my TV, and then it was coming over here to the stream, the capture card. But then before the capture card, I had a second HDMI splitter because I was going to pipe that into this other HDMI switch that I have, which would make me be able to view whatever's being output on my 4K screen here. So I would be able to see whatever's coming out of the RetroTINK 4K, both on the OLED and on my 4K monitor here. But what I ended up, thankfully, the Live Gamer 4K has a pass-through feature where whatever you put into it, there's a second HDMI there's a HDMI output on the card, and I ran that output to the switch instead. So that works fine. But only after I went through the struggle of seeing that you have to limit how many devices are in that's not a scientific test or anything, but I just struggled really hard. And I even bought I have an 8K cable now, probably just more shielding. But that didn't help. That didn't fix the problem. So I fixed it by limiting how many things go into how many devices are in the chain before my capture card. I spy with my little brainworm. Yes, it's over here. So to get back to your question, Virtual Boy, I don't know. You probably would be happy if all you had was a 4K TV or monitor or something. The interesting. Okay, I'm gonna bust out the Xbox because people wanted to see that. So I have my Project Stellar, and I'll talk about that. If you have, I do kind of highly recommend an OLED, but for way more reasons than just for compatibility with the RetroTINK. If you don't have an OLED, it is hard to describe how good the black level is, and how good the colors look. Oh, shout out to PCBWay for their sweet swag. This is this cool Christmas themed wrist rest that I use with my Retro PC here. So this is HDMI. I'm going to rip the HDMI cord out of my switch. But I ended up buying this screen used. This is a 42-inch C2 OLED, which I was initially kind of put off by, because when Try reviewed this TV, he didn't like it because the 4:3 aspect ratio introduces latency, or there's some combination of settings when you're in 4:3 mode and like black frame insertion mode, some combination of settings that introduces latency in 4:3. So the scenario with that, so up until the 4K, depending on the console that you used in the RetroTINK 5X, you may or may not be able to use that like unsupported 4K, or no, 1440p 16:9 resolution. Some consoles don't like that, so it'll put the 4:3 game in a window, or a 16:9 box. So like it'll letterbox it basically. It'll put the black bars on the side, but not all consoles agree with that. So, you know, to get around that, you can just switch to the, you know, slightly lower or lesser bandwidth 4:3 1440p. So that has no letterbox, but that's a 4:3 resolution. And so that you may run into issues with an OLED if you run in 4:3 with certain consoles. So I didn't really do any sort of analysis on that. I just kind of figured, hey, that's the way it is. And I Googled it when I got this TV, and I don't think anybody, I don't think they fixed the problem or that issue, if it was an issue. However, with the 4K, that's kind of off the table again, because you can just put it in 4K 60 and it will letterbox it again, right? So you can always run in the 16:9 resolution on the C2. I got this refurbished. It was like $750 or something, which is a good deal for any OLED. And there was actually, the C3 was on sale recently for Black Friday, like $800 or $900 or something. So I don't know, you know, is it worth getting a giant, like several $1,000 TV just for this? For me, not really. I can't really have a big TV in my house. Okay, so I'm getting things set up here because I have kids. So I can't have a TV, big TV. I hope there's games on this console. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you can always just never buy one and then wait until all TVs are that way. I don't know. It depends. I mean, I do think it's impressive. Like the output is impressive. It looks really nice, especially for movies and things. And like I said, I was having a blast just playing Doom with the HDR toggle on. It looks really nice on here. I don't have a great way of conveying the scan line thing, because I would have to, I think maybe not tonight, maybe a different stream we can talk about the differences. Well, I'll try to get my camera rigged up so that I can actually capture the TV, the OLED, instead of through the capture card, and that way you guys can see, because there's no way, it's just gobbledygook, like it adds weird colors and things to the capture. So it's difficult to show you guys what that looks like, other than doing what Try did with the using his camera. Okay, so now I need a controller. Where did I put my Xbox controller? I have a whole bin of them. Oh, here it is. I guess. Okay. Where is my good one, though? Oh, wait. I have an idea. I think it's over here. Oh, yeah. They're up here. Okay. Whoa. Yay. Nothing like asbestos falling off of my popcorn ceiling. Yum. Okay. Goodbye, asbestos. That's what you are. Okay. Nice. That's cool. The Packard Bell, like, just looking at some of the cases for those retro PCs is just, you could spend an afternoon just doing that. Okay, so what do we have? I think this is my Project Stellar. Actually, I made a little sticker. I started adding little stickers. Yeah, Project Stellar, Xbox HD Plus version 1. Oh, yeah. So this is the Legacy Xbox HD Plus, like the middle one, the second version one, but with the Project Stellar. So I should be able to switch back. Let's get rid of this garbage. Okay. So let's turn this on. We need to switch to. I've not done this yet, so we're gonna have to see how well this works. So this is HDMI input. Oh, look at that. I know there's a version 3 or 1.3 update for the Xbox. Oh God, is this blasting you guys? Oh, there's no. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, sweet, I got games. Okay, good. Okay, so this is the Project Stellar through Xbox HD Plus. Let's go to Halo. Steelcase Leap. Yeah, Leap V2. Yep. Yeah, this is, I would definitely recommend a used office chair if you have a used office store around you. Yeah, they're way better quality than these. Oh, sorry, that's blasting. Okay. It looks pretty good. Let's get into a. No, let's play Halo. Yeah. Okay. I don't have a Oh, no, I want to restart the level. So what does this say? What's my output here? Okay, so let's turn HDR on. Okay, so it's detecting 720p output from the. Oh my God, my controller is taking off here. Let's put on frame lock.
Chief?
Nice.
Chief, can you hear me?
Nice. I mean,
are you all right? Can
there
you
she
move?
blows. That's 4K. From 720 to 4K.
The impact.
Digital.
Nothing we can do.
So I guess this is about as good as an Xbox is going to look right now, unless you're doing emulation.
Covenant dropships on approach. I recommend moving into those hills.
But what I can also do before we go too far here, let me pause it because I know that guys spawn. We could do side by side between. Let me turn. Actually, shoot, I should have left HDR off. I'm gonna turn HDR. Is there a button for HDR on here? No, I don't see that. But if I go to output, yes, the output button. Okay. So yeah, I got to learn the shortcuts because that helps you a lot with. Okay, with that stuff. So now I can do side by side. Let's get the Magewell back in here. Let's make the AverMedia only half. And put a little gap. Okay, so now you have the raw output on the right from the Project Stellar HDMI. And then you have the 4K on the left. Hey, Nick Gamer. So now let's play a little bit.
Want to board this lifeboat?
Colors look a little bit different, don't they?
Alert! Covenant dropship inbound. They must be looking for survivors.
I don't have
I recommend immediate
my headphones
evasion.
on. So I can hear. Oh, that's. Is this loud? Let me turn it down a little bit. Ah. I don't exactly know. Okay, never mind. That's what I can hear. Oh, I know why. I don't need to. Oh gosh, guys, no. I know why. Because this is on. Sorry, I'm doing some things in OBS here. Shoot. I don't need to monitor and output this anymore. Monitor only. Got it. All right, monitor off. There we go. Okay, I think that's fine, right? This will play the sound.
Has detected us.
Yeah,
Here they come.
So on the left is the 4K. Ah. So again, this is a pretty difficult circumstance to tell the differences, right? Like, is it just me? See if we can get to like a brighter section. I don't know. Can you guys tell the difference? I really can't. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me full screen this. Yeah, there we go.
I'm reading a lifeboat beacon over the next hill. We should check to see if there are any survivors.
I'm playing through the capture. That's pretty good how low latency the whole chain is. I mean, I'm sure there's some latency, but that's a really wild thing. It goes through like the HDMI splitter, the RetroTINK over to my capture card, then out of the capture card into a different switch, back into. It's just, yeah, it's a lot.
It's a mess, sir. We're scattered all over this valley. We called for evac, but until you showed up.
Heads up! I got a
Maybe, is there a profile, I wonder? Is there an Xbox
No worries.
profile?
We'll stay here until evac.
So I didn't even look at the profiles, but if you go to load profiles, there's a Microsoft Xbox from Wobbling Pixels.
Does anyone see
Xbox 720p sharp. Xbox 640 to 720p.
Nobody on this side.
Guess this. Okay. So that is the 720p profile, I think. Don't know what the other ones do. Okay. So let's play with the profile on. Okay, now we have the profile on the left and the raw capture on the right. I can't tell the difference, yeah. Well, we'll see with the. I'm not actually looking at the screen anymore. I guess I should go back. So I'm trying to look at my other screen here because I can full screen the OBS capture. I can kind of tell here a little bit. It does look like the I don't know, but this is like literally best case scenario on the right,
I could use some help over here.
or best output possible with the digital Xbox HD Plus output. Is there anything different in the grass? If we look in the grass, maybe? I don't know. Is the tree sharper on one side than the other? Maybe in the sun. Let's get a nice backlit sun or something. Or backlit tree, I mean. Ooh, that looks pretty. Not a good test of the RetroTINK, but yeah, I don't know. What, mate? I guess I would say that, like, if you look at Master Chief's hand, like, let's move the captures over so that the Mage Well is capturing less. Oops. Like this, and then we go like this.
Uh-oh, another bandit dropping in behind us.
So,
They're
like,
trying to flank us.
can we tell anything with his hands? Let's see, full screen. And I don't think that, I'm not saying this in like a, you know, this is not worth it sort of sense. This is just like a, you know, tempering expectations, because I think a lot of people have
We couldn't save them.
probably already have like second
I reckon if
best
we stay near the
stuff
beacon,
out
wait
there.
for
Like if you have a
extraction.
full 5x setup, or even like some of the other digital mods, digital output mods, I mean, those are already gonna be good. I don't know how much better they're gonna get with 4K. Granted, you know, you could get a lot of, or a couple of added benefits. Like I said, just pipe everything into the 4K and then just set the output to 4K 60, and you might prevent some issues with latency with like the C2 if there is any in that 4K mode. But again, that's very unscientific. I don't, you know, is it worth spending $700, $750 to avoid latency? I guess to some people it would be. Okay, let's move on to something else. How about some, I don't know, Super Nintendo or something? Or what's better, NES or Super Nintendo for this kind of thing? Don't know. What do you guys want to see? Anything? Ooh, I have an idea. Well, actually, you know what? I was gonna get I have the Genesis HDMI mod, but I feel like that's gonna be the same scenario. It's just gonna be, so let's get something analog. So either the Genesis or the Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo, okay. Gotta find all my cables. Doot, 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 doot. Okay, so this is a Super Nintendo Junior with the RGB mod. Okay, I need the red to black converter thing for the triad. Put the stickers on the back so I would know which one's which. I also did a dumb thing, unrelated to the 4K. I was using these. I have these old speakers that I wasn't really using. They're not bookshelf speakers, but they're like surround sound speakers. And I was using this. This is a pretty inexpensive Fozzy Audio V3 amp. So it's just an amp for bookshelf speakers. So you put, you know, RCA inputs, and then it gives you the speaker outputs. And I use my sit stand desk a lot, but I also store my I stored the rig thing, my camera rig thing. So when I do mods above the table here, I use this, but I store it down here. But it was over here enough so that when I lowered my table, the amp was sitting under my desk, and I sheared one of the banana plugs off of it. So I just had to see this one here is just, oh, that one's just straight up missing. So that was dumb. So I had to order a new banana. Thankfully, those are like little panel mount jacks, so. Alrighty, and let's get my, I think that has this guy. Okay, all right. So now we're gonna do input. Oh, look at that, it gives you a profile overview at the top. I didn't really notice that it tells you what settings are set for this profile at the main menu. So I need to reset. Whoops, huh? Just load profile 1. How do I oh, okay, load default. Okay, nice. Okay, so let's set this, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Set that there, let's do frame lock, out of range. Okay, this is not on. So I guess I gotta turn this on. Turn VRR on. Then I've got to switch the input to YPPR. Then I need to set my Extron, turn it on, and get the Super Nintendo output. Okay. Nice. Okay. I've never looked at anything else besides, like, what you're seeing is the first time I'm seeing it. So, hey, Belmont. No worries. You can always watch my VOD tomorrow. I'm just kidding. Force you to watch my stupid VODs. Okay. Let's do... I've got to switch to bench capture. Oh, boy. Okay, so I don't have any use for the Mage Bell right now. Let's full screen. Well, what I could do, I suppose, is I could do the red... Are the colors weird here? The colors look weird here, don't they? It's probably my, yep, I might have just pulled something out. I don't like, I wish I had a G comp. I really do. The colors still look weird, don't they? Let's get into a game. Yeah, the yellow is not there. There's no yellow. So maybe it's on the output side. I don't like fiddling with the chords behind my... Does that look better? It looks like blue is just missing, doesn't it? That's strange. I have not used this in a while, my Super Nintendo. RGB to comp. Nice. Thanks for watching my VODs. Component? I guess one might be loose. Yeah. But that involves a lot of messing about. Okay, so I'm unplugging the switch. I just had that to do an HDMI input test, which was inconclusive. Or I guess I could just plug it right into the, I don't want to do that. See, this is the problem with my setup here. Let me just show you. I wish I had a G-comp, because if there's a problem with something loose or something, I have to do this. And like, It's just a pain in the big pain in the butt. I'm always worried that these wires are messed up. Okay, so this is the first wire. Oh, there we go. Okay, on the output side, it was all right. I'm gonna leave it like that. It's jank, but yeah. So I either need a G comp. I mean, I love my Extron, and if I'm gonna replace it with anything, it has to have at least 2 outputs. Does the G comp have 2 outputs, 2 component outputs? Otherwise, I have to wait for the infinity switch. Okay, cool. So we're in. This is just, there's no profile loaded. So before I do anything, let's go back to bench capture. So now let's do, there's a button. If you press aux2, that automatically crops 4:3. So pretty much any new console or whatever that you choose, you want to hit that. So that looks good. Now I want to turn on, if I go to menus, profiles, load from file. Thankfully, this came preloaded with all these profiles, so that was really awesome. I'm glad that Mike decided to do that. Oh, I didn't update the. I meant to update my Project Stellar to the new update, but I'll have to do that another day. Okay, so now we can go down to Super Nintendo. Let's try Firebrand X's RGB, I guess this one, right? HDR-V low? I don't know what this is. HDR. Oh, wow, there's some options. Okay. SNES Sharp 10X. SCART. Okay, so that's fine. His profile has it automatic. Oh my God, look at how cute that is. With the Firebrand X little thing in the top. That's awesome. Oh man, that's sick. Okay, so we need to switch to yes. Okay, so this should be everything in Firebrand X's Super Sharp 10X profile. It looks it looks so good. Holy cow, it looks good. Okay. That looks really good. You know what I want to do as a comparison? Okay. We've got a little bit of time, and I've always wanted to do this. I prepared for the stream just in case I felt like doing this. I bought a second. Let me get my. We're gonna come back and play the game, but we have to do a little bit of epicness. So I bought a second. I have my Extron. I have a second. I gotta look for that. Oh God. Bear with me, guys. I have a plan. It's all in the plan. I don't need the audio output. That's fine. Do I have a second? Oh God, I don't have. I need those. Where is all that stuff? I know I didn't say any words. I'm going to set up the 5X. With the Extron, I can output to 2 outputs at the same time, any input. So I can output the Super Nintendo to both the 4X or 4K and the 5X, and I'm going to capture them at the same time, and we'll put them together. That's the goal. And if I could do that in like 5 minutes, then I'll be happy. Okay, wait, I found what I need. So I need more of these BNC adapters. If I have another output side of the DB Electronics thing, is this the output side or the input? I can't tell. That's annoying. What does the output side one look like? Oh, there's different colors. What does that one look like? Is that black? Well, I don't need audio, so that's fine. Okay, so this might jiggle a little bit. I have so many cables coming out of here. Okay, so connecting BNC things. Connecting BNC things. Okay, so connecting BNC things. Now let me get my 5X. I guess I should have already prepared this. Sorry, guys. Okay, got the 5X. Okay, I've got... I need to... This output is going to go to the RetroTINK. Then I need to get my second HD RetroVision cable. Hey, Kaitor. I hope there's a 1366 by 768 mode with a blown out contrast to simulate late aughts gaming. Yes. No, just set it to 4K and send it. Okay, so second output. God, if this cable situation couldn't get any worse over here. Okay. So this is the second output. And that's going to go into the 4K, and then I need power to power the 4K. And then you need to get your RetroTINK. Oh wait, I need to get a power cable. I got to go over here to my USB cables. I need a room like 4 times the size that I have currently. That would be like the best way to get I'll maximize my space. Maximize my space by just getting more space, is what I just said, basically. Okay. I forgot that the 5X is mini USB or micro USB. I just cleaned up my room the other day, like put all my cables and things away. I had floor cables. That's my problem is just not putting cables away. I just drop them on the floor. Okay. I'm back. Okay. Main screen turn on. Now I need the controller. Got the updated RetroTINK 5X controller that looks exactly like the new 4K one. That's funny. Don't mix up your controllers. Okay, so turn this on. Oh, this is already on. Okay. So let's put this here. So now, what do we have? We have, if I go to the stream, then I could put, let's get the Majel back. Let's get AverMedia, put it at half. Okay, why is my Majel not working? Okay, so this needs to be set to, oh man, I have to set this up. Okay, wait a minute. We've got a full screen, this. Okay. Now we go on the menu. Oh wait, there's an input here. YPBPR. Oh, you know what I need to do too? I need to output Super Nintendo to the second output. Go. Yes! Figured it out. Okay, now we've got, there's no cropping mode. What is aux? Aux doesn't do the cropping. Let's see, what output are we outputting? Huh? Why is this not? Oh my god, I'm a fool. I've got no batteries in the controller, and I was trying to use it. We're so close, guys. Ah! Okay. Oh god, I just picked up a giant cat hair. Giant clump of cat hair. Okay, there we go. Now I can do, what's menu? Really? Menu. Enter. Oh, I'm so stupid. I was trying to do the, okay, back. I can't look at my OLED because it's not, okay. Output resolution. Oh, I've got to go to, so let's go to, HDMI. Then I have one of the original OSD, that's right. I have one of the original models of the 5X, so some of these modes might not work. Because like if you do 1440p output with frame gen or something, it doesn't work. But let's test it. So this would be the equivalent 1440p output. Is the Magewell gonna hate it? Magewell hates it. Unsupported signal. Okay, let's set it to let's just do 1080. Let's just set it back to 1080. Well, now we might be too far gone. What do? Oh, that worked. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna be able to match it the same because the crop mode. Am I? Oh wait, Phil would do that, right? Phil. I don't know. All right. That's the Magewell. I'm just gonna stick with the, well, let's try the 4x3 1440p. Oh, that worked. Look at that. Oh no, it didn't work. What? Why does it just automatically hate it? That is interesting. Maybe I have another setting that's overriding it. Where is that frame gen thing? I don't know. Okay, fine. I don't know why it wouldn't switch to that resolution. Well, this is 1080, 1440p. So let's see if we can try to line it up and then just do some gaming. Do side by sides. Okay, so let's move that crap out of the way. Hello? Hello there. Ah. Okay. I'm here. Tiny in the corner. There we go. Incoming cat! Oh no, she's leaving. Okay, so now if I do, so the mage well's here. Let's do half the screen. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do some. I'm gonna have to do some massaging. Okay, let's see. Oh, I think the mage well died. The mage well does not like whatever resolution is coming out of here. Let's just put it to 1080. Yeah, I don't know. I'm having difficulties with this right now. Oh no! Whoops! I switched the 4K to 1080. I grabbed the wrong remote. That was dumb. Okay, we're back. Okay, now now I have to like. Now I have to line these up better. Okay, I think that's better than nothing. That looks okay? Why is this where I stopped? Okay. Well, now they're all wonk. There we go. That's better. This. There. Okay. The crop is not 100% here. Okay, that might have fixed it. Okay, so what you're seeing now is the 4K, and God, this is bothering me. Okay, there we go. Fix my C920. The RetroTINK 4K is on the left, and the 5X is on the right. The 5X is in 1080p. I didn't have time to make it better. And it also kind of looks like, oh, I can turn HDR on now at both, right? I can turn HDR on my 5X. Boom. Oh gosh. Maybe I better just turn it off. Unless there's a shortcut. Don't see it. Okay, let's just turn off. Is it on here? Let's go to output. Oh, it is off. It is sort of weird that, doesn't it kind of look like the 5X is a little darker? That is interesting. Okay. Give a crap. Let's just play. I thought I beat this. I guess I didn't. Let's see. Can I go out into the next world? See, doesn't it look dark? Or am I just imagining that? Some gain setting, maybe? Yeah, maybe some gamma adjust setting. Oh, what? Starting auto gain, what did I do? Oh, okay, wow, I did this auto gain on the 4K and it looks like it now is a little bit better. Is there auto gain on the 5X? Let's see if I can. I need to get the mage well. Let's do this. Okay, now I can see if there's a gain, some kind of gain setting. Where's gain? Post-processing? Gamma boost? Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it. The colors look better. Oops, shoot. Don't the colors kind of look better in the 4K? Maybe just more saturated or something? Okay, let's get out of here. Beat this boss. Oh, whoops! Hit the wrong button. I'm trying to do the full screen preview. I'm trying to play in the OBS preview window. Oh, this is kind of barfy. Okay, so on the 5X is on the left and the 4K is on the right. Or no, 5X is on the right, 4K is on the left. And now we can finally play games for 20 minutes. Oh, but now I can't see comments. This is annoying. Well, you guys will be able to look at that. You can boost color in post-processing. Yeah, I don't know which setting. Well, it's fine. Let's just play games. I think it looks better now than it did. Okay. Oh, you guys can see the back of my head? Hello. Oh gosh, stuff's falling. What's falling? My 5X. Bye. Ah, oh, frog. I can't get over how sharp it looks in person. It's 10x. I mean, that's crazy. Oh, poor froggy. How do I jump on the back thing? I cannot do this. Nah, this one. Maybe that's only in the second game. Oh, boo. Missing all these extra lives. That color thing bothers me. Okay. Ah! Oh, jeez, really? I really wish that I could somehow see both at once on the OLED here, because it's very hard to tell on my small screen. And the other 4K screen I was looking at before was 27-inch. So it's probably more beneficial if you have a giant screen. Ugh, man, I suck. Ah, so close. Ah. Come on. This level's hard. All right, let's that's a good idea. Let's switch to a brighter game maybe. Super Mario World 2. Oh, Yoshi's Island. Wow. I'm just staring at the screen. Now, I'm curious. I'm not gonna lie and say that I can't see any noise in the sky. I'm pretty sure that I've recapped this Super Nintendo. Oh God, what happened? I just fell on the ground. I'm trying to see what it looks like on the full screen OBS capture. You could tell it's sharper on the full screen capture. The text especially. Right, like, well, again, the 5X is 1080. I kind of couldn't get it to do the 1440. So if you had it at 1440, it would look a little bit better too. But I mean, the 4K, it's just better. It's way better. I think the OSSC is also, or the Magewell capture card is off, like not lined up perfectly. Yep, 4K is on the left. Yep. Sorry, I should have put labels. The left is the RetroTINK 4K, and the right is the 5X in 1080p. That's weird. The colors look better here. It was just in Donkey Kong that they looked different. Now they kind of look the same. So let's just play a little bit of this, I guess. Ah, really? Yeah, I heard about the I heard that the secret to buying a 4K was to use a VPN. Oh, come on. Oh, really? It follows you? It's been a while. Not as easy to tell on my end. Oh, you're using 1440p. Yep. I mean, this looks really good. I mean, I know that's not very descriptive, but like if I was just looking at the screen, I probably couldn't tell. But then side by side compared to the 5X and 10, only in 1080, it is a little sharper. Now maybe next stream I'll go into I'll try to do a good scan line or the slot mask comparison, because that's kind of fun. It's just, I don't necessarily know if I know enough. Well, I know enough to make a personal decision. I don't know enough if it's enough to decide if the scan lines look authentic or not, or the slot masks compared to real CRTs. But I know enough to say that it's fun. It's fun to look at and fun to mess around with the settings. So the slot mask stuff, I mean. But again, it's another thing that you can only it's a thing that you can only visualize with on the screen. You have to see the screen to know what the heck it means, or to see what it looks like, I mean. Come on, really? This is how I'm gonna die to this dumb shell? I can't not pick the shell up. I can't get out of here. How do I get out? Okay, I'm out. Are you just using generic 4x3? No, so on the 4K, I'm using the FiberNX 10X profile. And on the right, it's just 1080p. I couldn't get the 1440p settings to work in the 5 seconds that I tried to give it. I don't often use anything that's not generic. Oh, that's true. I was just talking about the scaling. I didn't use the... Oh, shoot. This again? Hold on. Let me turn on that, too. Let's go to this. Go here. Let me set the sampling to Super Nintendo. There we go. That's better. Okay. Possible reason why. Okay, so now we've got... let me line them up better. Okay. Now we have on the left the 4K in with FiberNX's 10X profile, and on the right is the Super Nintendo Gen sampling 1080p. That makes it look slightly sharper. I mean, now I have a real hard time. I'm going to just start playing it, but I have a real hard time telling the difference now if I'm staring at the full screen. Yeah, wow. It's probably close. Let me see if I can... I'm going to go full screen in the OSSC. There we go. Or not... I keep saying OSSC, but I mean the meanwhile capture. It is very difficult to tell, actually, in full screen in 4K. Huh. The colors are off, I think, a little bit. I don't know if that's my settings or not. I'm going to blame my settings. But sharpness-wise now, I don't know if I can really tell. Ah! Yoshi, no! Ah, really? Huh. As soon as I put the 5x profile on there, the sampling mode, I don't know if I can tell the difference. I still am seeing on both screens. I don't know if you guys can tell. There is some noise in the. Oh, is that the ghosting thing? I think I didn't do that on this console. Well. Anyways, I guess my point is that there still could possibly be analog noise that unless you you might be able to tune some of this out in some setting, but I didn't touch anything, and I could still see some noise. So it's not. I don't think getting a 4K RetroTINK 4K is gonna fix analog noise if you have it already. You know, it's not like it's that. I don't know if Mike added any additional or fancier filtering to analog, so okay, not as easy. Oh, now they kind of look the same on the stream. I know. For me, it'll be most useful to have the higher scaling on 480p and 720p. Well, that was the other thing too, is I couldn't tell the difference on 720p. And I tried switch. If you go back mind scan and watch the beginning of this stream, I did switch also. There, it doesn't. I don't think it'll make a difference. Well, I was testing Tears of the Kingdom, and that game is kind of. It looks fine. Like I like the art style, but it doesn't really look great. In general, the game. So putting it through the 4K didn't make it better. Both look great. Curious to see what it does with the Switch. Yeah, go back and watch the beginning BMW MD. I did a little bit of Switch comparisons, and I couldn't tell. I don't know if that's necessarily. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the conclusion to that is. Same thing for Mr. or the analog consoles. They're probably going to be very similar. Well, actually, the FPGA consoles might even be better because you're getting a pure digital output. They might be better than an analog console. When I say analog, I mean a real console with analog video cables. Man, I don't know, man. Now, I'm curious what people actually said in reviews, because I wonder if I'm missing something. I don't know if I'm missing something or not. How do you save in this game? Can you just save anywhere? Oh, it only saves at the end of a castle. That's right. All these fun things. Give me the mushroom. Yeah. I forgot how fun this game is. Oh! Bonk. You know what? I think next stream, I'll probably do another one of these streams. Maybe I'll put a poll and see, because I would like to see Sega Genesis. I don't know how much, I'm not sure how much different it would be compared to the Super Nintendo. But, oh, fudge. I watched some 4K footage on YouTube and I could tell 100%. 720p is super blurry on your Oh, I see. 720p. So that's the other thing too, is I don't have a great way of seeing the capture on. I don't know. because actually I was looking at the 4K on my OLED, so I was not looking at the native switch output on my OLED. I would want to set up my HDMI devices to have like an HDMI switch before the scalers, and I even bought actually a matrix switch so that I could send whatever HDMI inputs to different scalers and stuff. So maybe I'll do that just to be able to swap back and forth on the OLED to see without affecting the capture. Which SNES is that? This is a Junior with the Voltar RGB bypass. I don't think I did the ghosting fix. I should go back and do that. Actually, I think I remember losing the capacitor on my floor during my Super Nintendo Junior video. That was like one of my first mod videos, was the Junior. So the ghosting fix could fix the issue. So I'll have to. That could be a console. That could be a console issue. .720p is super blurry. I guess it probably also depends on the game. So like I probably would like to see what Xbox 360 looks like. I think a lot of those games output in 720p, right? I mean, I guess you could set it to output 1080. Well, let's just kind of... I'm going to come back over here because it's... Oops, wrong button. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's... I'm not going to say that there's no difference. It's one of those things that you could probably be convinced one way or the other. Like, I guess I would say that don't feel bad if you can't afford a 4K. I think the 5X is fine. I mean, that's been the best scaler for years anyways. So up until, I don't have an OSSC Pro. So if you don't have even a 5X, I would say that the 5X is the way to go. But I don't know the 5X versus the OSSC Pro, because I think they're similar price ranges. And then the Morph is getting higher, but it's not as high as the 5X. So I would like to do comparisons of the 5X or the 4K and the Morph, but I don't think that's not going to be super conclusive either. The worst case scenario is that there's no difference and you won't be able to see. Or the best case scenario, I suppose, is you can't tell a difference. So I think the features are what make it worth it. Yeah, so the little things that I've noticed so far, again, I don't have a VGA to SCART adapter to be able to use the retro consoles in the 5X, so I don't know how the 5X would perform. But compared to the OSSC, resolution switching, other than that weird DOS bug where you set it to 1440p and frame gen and it might not get the sync and it might not display anything. I was playing different games, switching resolutions, and it was fine into my CRT. It's added complexity when I'm going into my capture card, adding all the additional HDMI stuff. It probably would perform, or like it would be easier to just have it run natively, or like what am I trying to say? If you want to just display the 4K on your TV, you're probably going to run into less compatibility things than I'm doing with all this crazy stuff. The main features that I really like so far is the auto cropping thing is great. I think that it works really well and it gets you out of, second guessing yourself. Because before, if you did the 5X and you stuck with just like 1080p over, under, or fill, and for me personally, I'm like, I didn't know which of those options I was satisfied with. I mean, over is fine, but just knowing that it wasn't like perfectly cropped and like centered on the screen bugged me. And I didn't want to make profiles just to crop and center the game. So most of the time I would just run it with just the sampling mode thing. But the auto crop is sick. That's a good feature. Handling the resolution switching, but I think the 5X handled that pretty good already. And again, you would have to measure the input latency, but Try was saying that there was input latency if you try to run 4x3 in the LG C2 in his C2 OLED review. So by being able to run in 4K in letterbox just all the time, 4K 60 letterbox, no matter what is input, what the input is, that's way easier just to keep track of on the output side, on your TV side. You don't have to switch settings or anything. You don't have to change to 4:3 or 16:9. You just leave it at 4K for most stuff, and that's good. Like, you know, you're getting the best possible setup. The built-in profiles from the SD card is a nice feature. I don't think that's something that couldn't be in the 5X. Like, Mike probably could have shipped 5X profiles. Actually, no, maybe was there a limit to how many profiles you could have? Well, I'm sure he could have come up with a solution for loading games or loading profiles off of a file, like a flat file, just stored on the SD card. There's no way to really do that with the 5X, but I'm sure it would be able to do that. So I don't know if that's really it's a new feature in the 4K because it comes with a bunch of nice profiles. I didn't go through the process of seeing what the firmware updating is like. I'm not sure if it's just a matter of putting new firmware on the SD card and it updates. I kind of really wish it had some kind of Wi-Fi to do firmware updates, but yeah, it's the niche of the niche. Yeah, still. So, well, I mean, it's the best of the best. There's really nothing like it, and it's like, you know, it's the early adopters are gonna get it no matter what. So, I think I don't really know what other features besides the auto crop thing and just being able to set it to 4K 60 and let it handle the letterboxing all the time. I guess the frame gen thing is on all the time, or can be on all the time with any resolution, versus because I have the original 5X, I can't enable frame gen in that 1440p mode, I think. I don't really know what other features there are. I guess HDMI input is a nice feature to have. VGA input is like raw VGA. Having composite video and S-video broken out is really good instead of having to use the SCART plug. So just the sheer amount of inputs is really nice on the 4K. I guess the controller is the remote is a little bit better. This is the 5X one, but they look exactly the same. But the features that I care about the most, like auto cropping, is one of the aux buttons, which is nice. Being able to toggle gen or frame lock on and off, or frame gen, I mean, versus triple buffering from the controller is nice. I'm sure there's other things, but like I said, I purposely didn't watch anything because I wanted to get my initial, like, if I was just a person buying this with a little bit of knowledge, how would it feel to experience it? That's kind of what I wanted to capture. But now I might go back and watch Bob's video or something to kind of fill me in, because there might be some features that I don't know. But other than that, I'm not going to say it's underwhelming, because I'm whelmed. I'm properly whelmed. But I really don't think that you should feel bad if you have a 5X. If you have a 5X with proper profiles and you have the right scaling mode for the console that you're playing, then you'll be 80 to 90% of the way there, I think. But we will look at the scan lines and the masks in more detail. I have my camera. I'm going to try to point the camera at the screen and try to capture the masks, because that's kind of a big feature. And that was the one feature that got me to buy the OLED, was the mask feature. So, all right. Well, I know I didn't really influence anybody because it's already sold out. So I kind of wish I had streamed it, but I got it on Thursday, so I don't know. I wish I streamed it right when I got it, but there's other people that can give you their opinion about it. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. I think we'll be back on there. I have a ton. I know I didn't mention anything in this video, but I have a ton of updates on retro computer stuff. I know you guys some of you might find some of that stuff boring, but I will say that learning about retro computer stuff is as deep as retro console modding stuff is. Not there's just a lot of options, just because decades of people buying or having old retro computers. There's a lot of just different parts you can get, and then there's a lot of open source projects that I'm finding that are awesome. Like they make using a retro computer with modern stuff. I mean, obviously, like that some of that stuff's getting old. Like the hard drives are getting really old. Some of them are just like straight up dead. Or floppy disks. I don't. If you watch me, if you watch my stream or my channel before, I don't really love physical media for preservation's sake. It doesn't really make sense to me because physical media can get damaged. I mean, cartridges are one thing I think, but discs, especially disc-based physical media, I hate because I grew up in the era when discs just get left out and stuff gets on top of them and they scratch it and whatever, and like I can't. That doesn't make any sense to me. I think you're kind of, well, that's funny I said that because I only buy physical PlayStation 5 discs, so I know it's kind of pointless, but hopefully it makes sense. Like, preserving the physical disc is never as good, in my opinion, as ripping the data off of it and like archiving it that way, because then at least there's some level of decentralization. Like, it's not in your house. If your house burns down, your whole physical media collection goes bye-bye unless you store it off-site or something. So, but there's a lot. This is so many cool things, and I want to share the IBM stuff that I've been doing. I have a second computer that I bought, a compact that's in between my gateway and like a newer computer. It's from like early 2000. So I'm super excited about all that stuff, but it's still coming in the mail. So got a lot of cool stuff there, and a lot of mods too that we can still do. And yep. So all right, thanks everyone. I know I was rambling at the end, but if you are watching this after and you're here, leave a comment if you want to see something about the 4K, and I'll reach out on Twitter too. So all right, thanks everybody.